What is up, everybody? My name is Gavin. I am an editor and director of photography here based in Los Angeles. And today I'm going to show you 3 effects that are going to take your music videos to the next level in 5 minutes. So without further ado, let's get started. Drag in your clip, it's going to be in your project over here. So you can just click it, drag it over. First thing we're going to start by doing is duplicating our layer. We can do that by pressing Control D. Next, we're going to click on the rotoscope tool up here, and that's going to bring us to our rotoscope menu. It's going to populate and start using AI to fill in our subject. You can notice I have a little green brush here, and I can hold Control to make it bigger or smaller. You can also hold the Alt button to delete. Super easy. I'm sure you already know, but thanks for following along with me, and hopefully you learned something. Such as, if you are trying to rotoscope hair and you're having a hard time, go up here, click the Alt button, and then click, and that is going to give you a more fine result if you have a lot of fuzzy hair in your shot. But he is wearing a hat. We don't have to worry about that. I'm going to go ahead and click Alt again to go back to the regular brush. It's sticking out over here, so I'll hold Alt and then delete. And you really just want to get this first frame as good as you can, because the AI is going to catch up and do the rest for you. Once we get that really good, we're going to hit the space bar to play. It looks like it did catch a little bit on an object, so we'll go to the first frame where we see that populate. Click back on our roto tool, hold Alt, delete, and now I think it's going to fix it. Nice. Now this is a pretty simple shot that we don't have to worry too much about. Looks like it's done already. Let's hit freeze. And what that's going to do is allow us to do our effects without having to wait for the rotoscope to load every time. So every time that I'm done with the rotoscope, I hit freeze. Sometimes they can be pretty intensive too, so it gives you a little break, right? And once that is all frozen, we're going to go back to our composition here up at the top. We can always go back to our layer, but we're going to go to our composition. That's where we originally duplicated the layer. So now we have 2 files. One's rotoscoped and one is just a duplicate. For this first effect, it's super easy. We're just going to duplicate the layer again. We're going to press P on that second layer to open up our position layer. Now I'm going to click the keyframe button, and what that is going to allow us to do is to create a clone. Usually I like to keep these effects between 6 and 12 frames, but it depends on the speed of your video. And I'm just going to clone him out. To make it look way better instantly, just click that motion blur button. I always click the motion blur button just in case something might be moving, because I know it makes it look so much better. What we're also going to do to make it look a little bit more natural, highlight our keyframes, hit the F9 button, and that's going to easy ease. And that makes it start a little bit slower and move more in an arc formation. After that, we're going to duplicate the layer again. We're going to move 8 more frames and do the same thing. I'm going to copy him over here. Boom. And for safety, let's just do it one more time. Right there. Once I have that, I'm going to select all the layers by holding Shift. We're going to press U twice to fix our keyframe window. Go over here and press the diamond over here at the very left. What the diamond is going to do is just create a new keyframe in place where everything is at, right? And I'm doing that because I want to reset the location of all these layers. So I'm going to close it, open it back up, and I'm just going to press reset. Now I have a new keyframe with all the layers reset. And now we can see our finished project. Easy. That's something you can do to take your music video to the next level right away. For our next effect, we're going to go back to our step 1. All these effects start the same way, by the way. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible for you. We have our rotoscope layer. We have our duplicated layer. what we're going to do is duplicate the layer once more. Go over here to Effects and Presets and type in Offset. We'll drag and drop and enable the keyframes just like that. Now this one, I kind of want to start midway through the clip, and you'll see why in just a second. I like to do something like 20,000. Once you hit that 20,000 mark, you're going to want to line it back up because what it's doing is moving the background, right? So we'll zoom in a little bit and try and line it back up best we can. And that looks just about right. Zoom back out. I'm using the scroll wheel to zoom in and out. You can also use your quality slider, your zoom slider right over here. I just prefer the mouse wheel because that's how I've been working. It's a little more intuitive, and it's all about speeding up your workflow. Speaking of speeding up your workflow, you can press P to open up your position layer. You press U to open up your keyframe layer. You press T, believe it or not, to open up your opacity. I try and think of it as a transparency layer, but it's opacity. You would think it would be a O. We're going to go back to the beginning of our clip. We have our offset. We're going to press U to open up our keyframes, highlight both of those, press F9 to easy ease. Let's see how that looks. I like that, but it's not blurry enough. It looks a little, whoa, even though we have motion blur enabled. I'm going to go over here to fast box blur, apply that. Let's check out the blur radius here. And what I'm actually going to do is keyframe the blur radius because I don't want the background to be blurry before the effect starts. I'll kind of have the background getting blurry leading up to the effect. Okay, we're going to go over here to the end, one keyframe right where it's at, and then we will bring it back down to 0. You can see it's looking better already, but it's a little too much and not enough time. So let's extend it out just a little bit. Boom. Something that I like to use instead of fast box blur as well is RSMB. And it's the same thing. I just prefer the look a little bit better. Usually use it at 0.3, and let's see how that looks. Another thing that you can do with this effect to really take it to the next level is take something like a film burn and sandwich it in between your layers while the background is moving. Especially if you're having a hard time blending your edges, we're gonna click our toggle switches and modes so we can take the layer and lighten. But I really only want it during when the background is moving, right? So it's gonna be your second layer below your rotoscope, but above your background. It does have a little bit of white. I kind of want to cut that out. So we can use Control-Shift-D to cut the layer right there. Control-Shift-D right there. Click on that middle layer, delete, and bring this over. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I like that. Now this last one I really like, and it starts the exact same way. So let's delete or mute all these other layers that we've been messing with. And we're going to go over here to our Effects and Presets panel and click Turbulent Displace. Once we click and drag over Turbulent Displace, we actually want to re-enable our roto brush layer because we want this effect just on the roto brush layer and not on the whole background. Let's delete everything else here. And we're going to click on our keyframes, amount, size, complexity. Now what we're going to do to make this a little bit not as recognizable as him is first of all, move it to 0 before it starts. And then we're going to go over here to our deep glow or just regular glow. Take that exposure probably to 0.1, radius to 300. But that's only when the effect starts. I don't want it to be visible before it starts. I'm going to press my keyframe layer again and take this exposure over to 0. That way it'll start up once the effect starts. Go to the end of the effect. We're going to press the diamond, take it back to 0. That way the keyframe will start and end with the effect and it matches. Let's press T for our layer opacity. Highlight both of those into easy ease. Just like that. Now you have a little explosion coming out from behind him. And my favorite part about this effect is that you can use it with really anything. So you can stick a layer in there and it doesn't have to be the rotoscope. Let me show you how that looks. I have a liquid gradient layer that I just drug in here. Let's sandwich it in between our background layer, and we're going to disable the turbulent displace on here, and I'll actually copy and paste both those layers and just put it over here. We want to actually mess with the complexity a little bit more, and we want the amount to be way higher. Oh, that looks cool. That looks super cool. I think that's where I want it to end, but how do I want it to start? I like where this is headed, but I don't like those hard edges where we can see the edge of the frame on my liquid layer. And here's another quick tip. If you want to mess with your background even more, try using optics compensation or your transform tool. After we get it all the way to the edges, we're going to keep our turbulent displace size and amount going so it looks like the layer is still moving, and that's going to help fade it out. Type in blob into our effects and presets. CC blobilize. Now what that's going to do is allow us to kind of mess with the layer and make it come in and come out, right? So we're going to wait till it's all the way gone, and we're going to want to extend it a little bit past our first turbulent displace keyframes. That way it's just going to look a little bit more natural. So let's see what we got. And look at that. Now we have kind of a liquid explosion going on behind him. This one can take a little bit to mess with, and depending on the clip that you put in, you kind of have to trial and error your way sometimes. The good news is I've taken all the hard work out of this for you, and I developed a Liquid Explosions pack that contains 20 top-tier 4K assets that you can drag and drop and save a lot of time. All these assets have different textures and can be fully customizable as well. If you made it this far, you're part of the 20% of people that watch the whole video. So if I can do anything better, or if you have any feedback at all, or if you want more effects, just let me know in the comments. I really appreciate all the love. Thank you again, and have a great day.